My name is Jessica R. Martelli, and I was 34 years old when I discovered that the husband I had loved for 5 years considered me nothing more than a comfortable waiting room until a more exciting woman arrived. The box in my hand felt heavier than it was. Inside rested a custom platinum watch engraved with 3 dates: the night Adrian and I met, our wedding day, and our 5th anniversary. Past, present, and the future I believed we were still building. Inside my coat pocket were 2 first-class tickets to the Amalfi Coast. I had left work 3 hours early, after telling my assistant I had a family emergency. Technically, surprising your husband on your anniversary qualified as an emergency of the heart. I parked my fully paid sedan down the street, so Adrian would not see it. I wanted the surprise to be perfect. Tuesday was his whiskey night. Usually, I stayed late at the office or went to the gym, while Adrian and his friends complained about work, relationships, and whatever sports argument had consumed them that week. But this Tuesday was different. I let myself into the house through the back door. The mortgage was in my name. I paid most of the expenses. Yet, as I stepped into the dim kitchen, I felt like a trespasser. Laughter drifted from the living room. I smiled and began arranging the gift beside the candles I had purchased for Adrian's birthday. Then I heard my name. "Jessica won't care if I stay up late," Adrian said dismissively. "She's probably still at that soul-destroying office staring at spreadsheets." His friend Derek laughed. "I don't know how you tolerate it. She's painfully predictable." I froze in the hallway. I waited for Adrian to defend me. He did not. "Predictable is generous," he said, his words slightly slurred. "Jessica is safe. She's like a reliable family sedan. She gets you where you need to go, but nobody dreams about driving one." The room erupted. My fingers tightened around the box. Samuel, the quietest member of the group, spoke carefully. "Safe is not necessarily bad. She loves you. She pays for this house and supported you while you changed careers." Adrian scoffed. "That's what wives do." The sentence landed harder than the laughter. "But does she excite me?" he continued. "Does she walk into a room and make everyone turn? No. She walks in and asks whether anyone remembered to lock the back door." More laughter. I stood motionless in the darkness, listening to my husband reduce my loyalty to a joke. Then Derek asked, "What about Renee from your office?" My blood went cold. Renee was the marketing director Adrian had mentioned casually several times. Brilliant, fearless, recently divorced. Adrian's voice softened. "We had lunch today." "And?" "The way she looks at me makes me feel 25 again. She's unpredictable, dangerous." Samuel interrupted. "You are married." "I know." Adrian sighed. "But honestly, if Renee made a real move, I'm not sure I would say no. Sometimes I feel like I settled for Jessica because I was approaching 30, and she looked like the safest option." My breath caught. Derek laughed. "Then leave." A long pause followed. "I can't yet," Adrian said. The cold practicality in his voice hurt worse than the insults. "The car, student loans, this house, the travel. Jessica handles everything. I cannot leave until I know Renee is serious. Until then, I have to keep playing the grateful husband." Someone poured another drink. Adrian raised his glass. "Here's to dependable stepping stones." Glasses clinked. I did not storm into the room. I did not scream or throw the watch at him. Standing in that hallway, the woman Adrian believed he knew simply disappeared. An icy calm moved through me. He did not see a wife when he looked at me. He saw housing, transportation, insurance, and financial stability. I quietly returned the watch to its box. The Amalfi tickets remained in my pocket. Then I backed through the kitchen, opened the door slowly, and slipped into the cold night without making a sound. From the street, I could see Adrian's silhouette moving behind the curtains as he mocked the life I had built for us. I placed the watch in my glove compartment and locked it. Then I drove to the downtown hotel I had reserved for our anniversary weekend. At reception, the clerk smiled. "Checking in for two?" "Just one." I upgraded to the presidential suite using the credit card Adrian was still authorized to use. I made a mental note to cancel his access in the morning. Upstairs, I ordered steak, a double whiskey, and sat beside the window overlooking the city. I did not cry. I did not call him. I simply waited for morning and the inevitable panic of a man whose safety net had quietly walked out the door. I slept better than I had in months. Not peacefully exactly. Peace would come later. But the sleep was deep and dreamless, the kind that follows the moment your body finally stops carrying something your mind refused to put down. When I woke, sunlight pressed through the hotel curtains. I ordered breakfast before turning on my phone. Eggs Benedict, black coffee, fresh fruit. I wanted 10 more minutes in a world where Adrian could not reach me. At exactly 10, I powered the phone on. It began vibrating so violently against the nightstand that the water glass beside it rattled. 47 missed calls from Adrian, 12 from Derek, 3 from Adrian's mother. Dozens of texts followed. 11:32 p.m. "Where are you?" 12:08 a.m. "The guys left. It is our anniversary." 1:41 a.m. "Did you go back to work?" 3:06 a.m. "Jessica, please answer. I am worried." 7:24 a.m. "Derek drove past your office. Your car is not there." 8:11 a.m. "Stop acting like a child and come home." He still did not know. He assumed I had forgotten the anniversary or decided to punish him by staying out late. He was angry, not remorseful. Then an Instagram notification appeared, a message request from Samuel. "Jessica, I do not know whether you will read this, but when I left last night, I saw your car pulling away from down the street. You were there, weren't you? You heard everything." I sat very still. The message continued. "I should have stopped it. I tried, but not hard enough. Adrian has been panicking all morning. He thinks you are angry because he forgot the anniversary. He has no idea you heard what he said about Renee. You did the right thing by leaving. Do not let him convince you that it was harmless." I read the message twice. The words gave me something I had not realized I needed. Proof. Not that I had imagined Adrian's cruelty. Not that alcohol had distorted what I heard. Someone else had heard it too. I did not respond. Samuel had already done more than the others by telling me the truth. Instead, I opened my banking application. Adrian's supplementary credit card was still active. I canceled it. Then I transferred exactly half of the joint savings into my personal high-yield account, including the interest generated by my deposits. I left his portion untouched. I was not stealing. I was separating. 10 minutes later, Adrian called again. This time I answered. His voice exploded through the speaker. "Do you have any idea how embarrassed I was? My parents called to wish us a happy anniversary, and I had to pretend you were in the shower. Where are you?" "At a hotel." "A hotel? Why?" I heard him pacing. "If this is about me talking with the guys, you need to calm down. We were drinking. Derek says stupid things and everyone goes along with it." "I heard you." Silence. Not ordinary silence, the kind that empties a room. "What?" "I was in the hallway. I came home early to surprise you." My voice remained steady. "I had the anniversary gift. I had first-class tickets to Italy. And I heard you call me a stepping stone." "Jessica, I heard you say you settled for me because I was safe. I heard you say you would sleep with Renee if she offered. I heard you admit you were waiting until she committed before leaving me." His breathing changed. "Baby, no. You misunderstood. I understood every word. I was drunk." "That does not make it false." It was just talk. I was trying to fit in. With your own friends? In our home? He began crying. The sudden shift might once have softened me. That morning, it sounded practiced. You know I love you, he said. I say stupid things when Derek gets me worked up. You compared me to a reliable car. I did not mean it as an insult. I know exactly how you meant it. I looked through the hotel window at the city below. You were right about one thing. I am reliable. He sniffed. What does that mean? It means I am reliably telling you that this marriage is over. A nervous laugh escaped him. You cannot be serious. Over one drunk conversation? Over the truth that conversation revealed. We have been married 5 years. And you were planning your exit while I financed your life? He tried to interrupt, but I continued. I canceled your credit card. I moved my share of the savings. I am contacting the landlord today. The lease expires in 30 days. His voice sharpened. You cannot do that to me. I am not doing anything to you. I am removing myself. Where am I supposed to go? Ask Renee. He stopped speaking. Maybe she has space for someone exciting. Jessica, stop. You're scaring me. No. What scares you is losing access to the life I paid for. I ended the call. Then I blocked him again. For several minutes, I waited for grief to crush me. It did not. What came instead was relief. Like removing shoes that had hurt for so long, I had forgotten walking was not supposed to be painful. Over the next few days, I hired an attorney. Because we rented and had no children, the separation could be handled cleanly if Adrian cooperated. I communicated only through email about practical matters, furniture, accounts, the lease. I told him he could keep nearly everything inside the house. I did not want the couch where he had mocked me. I did not want the table where his friends raised their glasses to my humiliation. I wanted nothing that required remembering how hard I had worked to make him comfortable. Adrian, meanwhile, began rewriting the story. Mutual friends sent screenshots of posts about escaping suffocating relationships and choosing passion over mediocrity. He wanted people to believe he had left me. I did not correct him. The truth did not need an audience to remain true. Then he went after Renee. Of course he did. The safe wife was gone, and Adrian was finally free to chase the woman who made him feel dangerous. What he did not understand was that Renee liked the fantasy. She had never promised to carry the reality. And soon, Adrian would discover just how expensive excitement became when nobody reliable was left to pay the bill. The next 3 months became a lesson in cause and effect. I did not disappear completely because that would have created unnecessary legal complications. I communicated with Adrian strictly through email and only about practical matters: the lease, the remaining accounts, the furniture, the divorce paperwork. My attorney handled everything else. Since we rented and had no children, the separation was surprisingly clean. I allowed Adrian to keep most of the furniture because I had no desire to rebuild my life around objects that carried the memory of his contempt. While I dismantled our marriage quietly, Adrian worked hard to control the public story. Mutual friends sent me screenshots of his social media post. He wrote about escaping a relationship that had become too safe. He shared quotes about refusing to settle, choosing authenticity, and reclaiming passion. He wanted everyone to believe he had left me. I did not correct him. People eventually notice when someone's inspirational story does not match the wreckage around them. Adrian immediately pursued Renee. For years, he had imagined her as proof that a more exciting life existed beyond me. Now he was free, and he expected her to welcome him into that fantasy. According to Samuel, Adrian appeared at Renee's apartment carrying 2 suitcases less than 2 weeks after our separation. He expected commitment. Renee expected entertainment. She allowed him to stay for several nights, but reality arrived quickly. Adrian needed somewhere permanent to live. He needed help with bills. He wanted reassurance, attention, and the kind of emotional support he once mocked me for providing. Renee had no interest in becoming his next safety net. Their passionate connection lasted 2 weeks. Then she told him he was too intense and that she had never wanted anything serious. Afterward, she blocked him. The woman he called a wolf had enjoyed the chase. She did not want the responsibility of keeping him. Samuel told me the details over coffee one afternoon. He is staying with Derek now, he said. Renee cut him off completely. That is unfortunate. Samuel studied my face, perhaps waiting for satisfaction. I felt none. Adrian's life was simply following the direction of his choices. Gravity did not take revenge when something fell. It only revealed what had never been supported. Without my income, Adrian's finances unraveled quickly. He earned enough at his marketing job to cover his student loans and car lease, but not enough to maintain the lifestyle he believed he deserved. He had called financial stability boring. Now he was learning that boring also meant solvent. While Adrian struggled, I began rebuilding. I used the money intended for the Amalfi Coast trip to hire a personal trainer. I had never been unhealthy, but years of long office hours and comfort eating had softened me. The trainer asked what my goal was. I want to feel strong enough to carry my own life, I said. I started training at 5 every morning. The physical strain helped. Muscles burned, my lungs ached. Every workout gave pain a location and an ending. Within 3 months, I had lost nearly 20 pounds of fat and gained strength I had not possessed in years. My clothes fit differently. My posture changed. More importantly, I no longer looked in the mirror and saw the woman Adrian had described. At work, I stopped choosing the safest option. I proposed a high-risk merger strategy I had been developing privately for months. In the past, I might have softened the plan or waited for someone else to present it. This time, I walked into the boardroom and defended every detail. The partners approved it. Within 1 quarter, I was promoted to senior director. My salary increased by 40%. The irony was almost perfect. Adrian had mocked me for being cautious and predictable. Once I stopped carrying him, I finally had enough energy to take risks for myself. People began noticing. Colleagues who had once overlooked me now asked for my opinion. Strangers held eye contact longer. Men approached me at professional events and rooftop bars. At first, the attention felt uncomfortable. For 5 years, I had been the invisible wife beside a husband who treated admiration from other women as proof of his value. Now I was learning that I had never been invisible. I had simply been standing beside someone determined not to see me. I went on a few dates, nothing serious, dinner, conversation, and the discovery that I was not boring. I had simply spent years with the wrong person. 5 months after the separation, I met Daniel Mercer at a charity event hosted by one of our corporate partners. Daniel was a pediatric surgeon, intelligent, composed, and unexpectedly funny. He did not ask what I could do for him. He asked what made me happy. The question caught me off guard. We began seeing each other slowly. One night, Daniel and I sat at a rooftop lounge, laughing about a disastrous speech he had once delivered at a medical conference. My phone lit up on the table. Blocked number. I silenced it without looking away from him. Your ex? Daniel asked. Ancient history. He smiled. History has a habit of returning when it dislikes the ending. He was right. A week later, Adrian emailed me from his work account to mine. The subject line read, "Please read." The message was long. He apologized. He blamed alcohol, Derek, confusion, and what he called an early midlife crisis. He admitted Renee had been a mistake. He said he missed our Sunday mornings, my coffee, our home, and the peace he once called suffocating. Then came the truth hidden beneath the apology. He was sleeping on Derek's couch. He had little money. Derek wanted him gone. Adrian did not miss me. He missed being protected. The old version of me might have rushed to rescue him. That woman no longer existed. Still, I knew silence alone would not stop him. People like Adrian interpreted unanswered messages as unfinished negotiations. So I replied. Starbucks on 4th and Main, Tuesday, 6 o'clock, 10 minutes. It was not a reunion. It was the closing of an account. I arrived at the Starbucks on 4th and Main at exactly 6. Punctuality had always been one of my habits. Adrian used to mock it, calling me rigid whenever I arrived early or planned too carefully. Now it felt less like caution and more like control over my own life. I spotted him immediately. He sat at a corner table with both hands wrapped around a paper cup. The contrast between the man I had left 5 months earlier and the one waiting for me was startling. Adrian used to look polished without trying. His hair was always styled, his clothes carefully chosen, and his confidence supported by the certainty that someone else would handle every consequence. Now his shirt was wrinkled. His hair had grown unevenly around his ears. The expensive watch I bought him years ago was gone. He looked tired. I, meanwhile, had come directly from a board meeting in a tailored navy suit. My posture was straighter. My body felt stronger. More importantly, I carried no secrets, debts, or desperate need for his approval. The moment Adrian saw me, his eyes widened. Jessica. He stood quickly and opened his arms as though a hug were inevitable. I remained where I was. Sit down, Adrian. His arms dropped awkwardly. He returned to his chair. I sat across from him but kept my handbag beside me, a quiet signal that I would not stay long. You look incredible, he said. You have been working out. I have. You look like you did when we met. Better, actually. I have more time now that I'm not managing another adult. He flinched. Please do not start like that. You requested 10 minutes. You have 9. Adrian inhaled slowly. All right. I know I made a terrible mistake. 1? He looked down. I know it was more than 1. He began explaining. Derek had filled his head with nonsense. Renee had made him feel desired at a time when he felt lost. The stability of our marriage had begun to feel like a cage, but now he understood it had been a foundation. Every sentence sounded carefully rehearsed. I miss you, he said. His eyes filled with tears. I miss Sunday mornings. I miss the way you made coffee. I miss our home. I miss knowing someone had my back. I noticed what he did not say. He did not say he missed my laugh, my opinions, the conversations we shared before sleep. He missed the services I provided. Renee was a mistake, he continued, a reckless, stupid mistake. She was only a mistake because she did not choose you. That is not fair. It is accurate. He leaned forward. People make mistakes, Jessica. We had 5 years together. Does that mean nothing? It means I spent 5 years believing we were building the same future. We can rebuild. No. The answer came so calmly that Adrian looked stunned. You did not even think about it. I have thought about little else for months. He reached across the table. I moved my hand away before he could touch it. His face tightened. I love you. You loved what I provided. That is not true. Would you be sitting here if Renee had invited you to move in permanently? He opened his mouth. No answer came. If she had wealth, commitment, and a home for you, would you have emailed me? That is hypothetical. No, Adrian, it is the entire reason we are here. His sadness began turning into irritation. You are acting like you did nothing wrong. You shut everything off overnight. You humiliated me. I ended my financial support after learning you were waiting to replace me. You left me with nothing. I left you with your salary, your career, your belongings, and the freedom you said you wanted. His jaw tightened. I can barely afford gas. That is not a marital issue anymore. I am still your husband. Ex-husband. He stared at me. The divorce was finalized yesterday. Your attorney should have contacted you. The color drained from his face. You signed the papers? I did. But I thought this meeting meant... It meant I agreed to give you 10 minutes. He sat completely still. Then his voice dropped to a whisper. I thought we could fix this. I leaned forward slightly. Do you remember what you said on our anniversary? I was drunk. You said you could do so much better than me. His eyes closed. I did not mean it. For weeks, those words stayed with me. I wondered why my loyalty was not enough, why loving you was not enough. Adrian looked up, and for one moment, hope appeared in his face. You were right, I said. His eyes widened. I was? Yes. He leaned closer. You were right that one of us could do better. The hope disappeared. I realized I could do better than a husband who mocked me to his friends. Jessica, I could do better than someone who viewed loyalty as weakness. I could do better than a man who needed another woman's attention to feel powerful. His face hardened. So this is punishment. No, this is consequence. I checked my watch. Your 10 minutes are over. I stood. Adrian pushed back his chair so quickly it scraped the floor. Wait. Several customers looked toward us. He lowered his voice. Derek wants me out next week. I have nowhere to go. I looked at him for the final time. You wanted unpredictability. You wanted passion. You wanted freedom from stability. Tears moved down his face. What am I supposed to do? Build your own life. You are really leaving me here? Yes. I picked up my handbag. You once said I was a safe vehicle carrying you from one place to another. You were right about that too. He looked confused. I carried the entire weight of our life while you complained about the ride. I stepped away from the table. Now you can walk. Outside, the evening air felt crisp and clean. I did not look back through the cafe window. My phone buzzed as I reached the curb. A message from Daniel. Surgery ran late, but I'm free. Dinner at 8? I smiled. Perfect. I'm on my way. For 5 years, I had tried to become the woman Adrian would value. Walking away taught me the truth. I was never boring. I had simply been wasting my strength on someone who mistook peace for mediocrity. Dinner with Daniel was effortless. We went to a small Italian restaurant where the service really was terrible, and the wine was excellent. He never asked me to explain why I had arrived looking relieved. He simply listened when I chose to speak and changed the subject when I did not. That alone felt unfamiliar. For years, Adrian had treated every quiet moment as something I needed to fill for him. Daniel understood that silence could be comfortable. As the evening continued, I realized I had not thought about Adrian since leaving the coffee shop. Not once. There was no urge to check whether he had called, no guilt about leaving him behind, and no temptation to imagine rescuing him. That was when I knew the marriage was truly over. Not when I signed the divorce papers, not when I canceled his credit card, not even when I walked away on our anniversary. It ended when his suffering stopped feeling like my responsibility. Over the following weeks, Adrian attempted to contact me twice. The first message came from a new email address. He said he had found a small apartment and accused me of forcing him to rebuild from nothing. I deleted it. The second arrived through his mother. She wrote that Adrian was struggling emotionally and asked whether I could at least help him with a security deposit. I replied with one sentence: "Adrian is an adult with a full-time job." She never contacted me again. Samuel later told me Adrian had finally taken a roommate and sold the leased car he could no longer afford. He stopped posting about freedom and passion once the performance no longer attracted sympathy. Renee moved on quickly. She became involved with another married coworker, proving Adrian had never been special to her. He had only been available. Derek eventually asked him to leave after months of arguments over money and household chores. The man who mocked me for asking whether anyone needed a coaster apparently left dirty dishes in the sink for days. Life had a sense of humor. I did not celebrate Adrian's collapse. I simply allowed it to belong to him. My own life continued expanding. The merger strategy succeeded beyond expectations. The company gave me oversight of a larger division, and for the first time, I began seriously considering opening my own consulting firm. Daniel encouraged me without attempting to take control. "You have already built other people's stability," he told me. "Imagine what you could build when the vision is entirely yours." The word stayed with me. Months later, I sold the anniversary watch. I had kept it inside the glove compartment far longer than necessary. Every time I opened it, the velvet box reminded me of the future I had imagined before hearing Adrian's confession. The jeweler asked whether the piece carried sentimental value. "It used to," I said. "I used part of the money to take the Amalfi Coast trip, alone." The tickets had been transferable, and I refused to let Adrian's betrayal turn Italy into another thing I lost. I spent 10 days walking through coastal towns, eating beside the sea, and waking without anyone complaining about schedules or expenses. One evening, I stood on a balcony overlooking Positano as the sunset turned the water gold. For the first time, I understood something important. I had spent years believing love meant becoming indispensable, paying the bills, remembering appointments, solving problems before anyone else noticed them. Adrian had accepted every act of love and interpreted it as proof that I would never leave. He mistook loyalty for captivity. He was wrong. When I returned home, Daniel met me at the airport. He did not arrive empty-handed or expect me to carry everything myself. He brought coffee, took one suitcase, and asked whether I wanted conversation or quiet on the drive home. "Quiet," I said. He smiled. "Quiet it is." That simple respect meant more than every dramatic promise Adrian had ever made. A year after the anniversary that ended my marriage, I received one final message from Samuel. Adrian had apparently told someone that losing me was the greatest mistake of his life. Maybe it was. But regret did not restore trust. Understanding value after losing access to it did not equal love. I never responded. I no longer needed Adrian to understand what he had thrown away. I understood what I had recovered. My dignity, my ambition, my ability to love without disappearing inside someone else's needs. Adrian once told his friends he wanted a woman who made him feel alive. What he failed to realize was that I had spent 5 years keeping his life functioning while slowly draining the life from my own. He went searching for a wolf. I went searching for myself. Only one of us found what we needed. I did not hate Adrian. I did not love him. Eventually, I stopped thinking about him entirely. And that indifference became the cleanest ending I could have asked for.